Let me tell you a story. In Santos, there's this legend. Every few decades, they say a lightning bolt strikes Villa Belmiro, and from that flash of brilliance, a football phenomenon is born. And while people love to say lightning never strikes the same place twice, in Santos, they insist it's happened 4 times. First, it was Pele, then Robinho, Neymar, and the fourth, Rodrygo. I've got to admit, on May 4th, 2022, when he electrified the Bernabéu, it certainly looked like lightning had struck. But listen, Rodrygo, he's not like the others. He wasn't born the chosen one. He wasn't blessed by the football gods with infinite talent. His greatness was built through blood, sweat, tears, and the relentless ambition of one man, his father. You've heard about Project Mbappe, right? Parents molding their kids into world-class athletes from birth. That's no joke for Rodrygo. From the moment he took his first breath, his father made sure his entire life was set on one goal: becoming a footballer. The moment Rodrygo was almost born, his mom told his father, "It's time." And what did his dad say? "No, keep him inside." Why? Because Rodrygo was due on Christmas Day. His father knew that if he was born then, he'd forever be the youngest on every youth team, something he called a disaster for a future pro. So he fought nature itself to give his son an edge. Rodrygo's dad even confessed he never told his wife the real reason. He avoided taking her to the hospital, scared doctors would speed things up. And on New Year's Eve, while rubbing her belly and counting down, 4, 3, 2, 1, he whispered, "Our son is going to be a football player." Crazy? Absolutely. But this family? They were football obsessed. His dad was a player, just 16 when Rodrygo was born, and rumors said his mom had talent too, though she never went pro. So Rodrygo, he never stood a chance. Football was his destiny, whether he liked it or not. By age 2, Rodrygo was glued to a football, playing from sunrise to sundown. Every birthday, football, themed parties, Real Madrid everything. Cakes, banners, hats, every haircut, whatever Neymar was rocking at the time. When his dad made it pro, Rodrygo became the team mascot, riding on buses, hanging in locker rooms, and once when his dad's team faced Santos, Rodrygo got a glimpse of his idol. Football wasn't just a game, it was his whole life. But it wasn't easy. Rodrygo wasn't handed anything. His dad taught him to believe anything was possible if he spoke it into existence. Every day, Rodrygo stared into the mirror and told himself, "I will play for Brazil. I will play for Real Madrid. I will win the Champions League. I will win the World Cup." By the age of 5, he was already telling his mom, "Don't worry, one day I'll be the best in the world." And as crazy as it sounds, his first step toward that goal almost gave his mom a heart attack. Rodrygo used to play on this dirt pitch with older kids who played for a local futsal team. Every time their coach showed up, Rodrygo would stay behind, heartbroken because he was too young to join. Until one day the coach parked nearby, watched him play, and realized that tiny kid was better than all of them. The coach called Rodrygo over, told him to hop in the van. They were going to sign him up for the next tournament. And Rodrygo? He didn't even think twice. He jumped in. His cousins saw everything. They ran to his mom, screaming that Rodrygo had just been kidnapped by some stranger. Panic hit. His mom called the cops. Thankfully, Rodrygo showed up before things got too crazy. His mom was furious and grounded him on the spot. But Rodrygo didn't care. A football tournament? He couldn't let that chance slip by. And that's how it all started. Rodrygo's talent spread like wildfire. There were whispers about this tiny kid, the youngest on his team, who came on at halftime, down 2-0, and scored 7 goals to turn the game around. Suddenly, Sao Paulo was calling for trials. But even there, his path wasn't easy. His dad still pushed him hard. So hard his mom had to step in at times. By 9, Rodrygo's father's career started to fade, and he had to leave town for work. His mom thought he was abandoning their family to chase an impossible dream for their son. But Rodrygo's career didn't stop. If anything, it got more intense. At age 11, Rodrygo was playing for both Sao Paulo and Santos. Yes, 2 clubs at once. His mom would carry him, still asleep, to the car so he could get a few extra hours of rest before training. And then he'd go straight from training to school, back to another training session, and then do it all over again the next day. No complaints. This was the grind. And then it paid off. At 11 years old, Rodrygo became the youngest Brazilian to ever sign with Nike. He'd broken Neymar's record. By 15, he was lighting up the field for Santos' U17 team, scoring 24 goals in 22 matches. Soon, Europe came calling. Liverpool, Barcelona, PSG. But the club in his dreams? Real Madrid, the same club he had on his birthday cakes as a kid. But there was silence from Madrid. Rodrygo kept waiting, hoping for a call. Even after scoring a 9-minute hat trick, his dad said, "No news from Real." Rodrygo was crushed. He stayed home playing FIFA, trying to distract himself. Then his dad left the house wearing a suit. A few hours later, he came home and laid 2 shirts on Rodrygo's bed, one from Barcelona, one from Real Madrid. "Son, today your dream becomes a reality. Pick." Real Madrid had called after that hat trick, but his dad had kept it a secret until everything was finalized. And just like that, Rodrygo's childhood dream came true. Real Madrid. Pelé himself gave Rodrygo his blessing. Never be afraid of anything, and Rodrygo took that to heart. After that, his rise was meteoric. He scored on his debut, lit up the Champions League, and in his second ever UCL match, scored a perfect hat trick, the youngest Brazilian to ever do it. And then, when Madrid needed a miracle against Manchester City in the 2022 semifinals, down on aggregate, a 99% chance of losing, Rodrygo stepped up. 2 goals in stoppage time. Real Madrid, champions of Europe again. And what everyone called a miracle, Rodrygo knew it wasn't. This moment was 19 years in the making.